Welcome once again, viewing several. Back to another edition of my little series that I like to call Hands Up Who Loves a Train Set? Me. So today I'm going to be looking at this Piko set that I recently got. It's an older set. It was made in the DDR, East Germany, and it features an E44 locomotive. It's a nice set. It says it's part of the Piko Expert range. Now they still have these different distinctions, the Expert being their top of the range, the Hobby being the entry level stuff, and I think they've got a classic range as well, which is somewhere in the middle, I think. I think the Piko set was the new Piko set that I looked at in one of the early episodes of this series is in the Hobby range. It's a good quality thing, and then this would have been their top of the range, but it is quite old because it was made in East Germany. It's probably at the latest late 80s, but it could be older than that. So yeah, let's have a look what's inside the box. Right, so we can see the instructions here, and you'll notice Bedienungsanleitung. It is in a number of languages, and because this was East Germany, you can see that it's some Eastern Bloc countries, so what looks like Russian, possibly Hungarian, I'm not sure, and some other East European, possibly Romanian, I would imagine. Yeah, so a nice little booklet there. I don't think there's any date on it. I can see a 72. I don't know whether... Oh yeah, it tells you there, German, Russian, I don't know what that is, Czech, I think, Polish, is that? Yeah, Romanian, Bulgarian, Serbo-Croat. Okay, so there we are. Right, let's just... yeah, I was just looking for a date there, I couldn't see one. So the set is quite an interesting one. Right, I'll just... there's a couple of things. This carriage has a missing... It's not missing, it's just come off, so I can repair that, and there's a buffer there that's in there. It's all complete, but I will need to get the Gorilla Glue out or something like that. Just bought some actually, so might use that, we'll see. These coaches are very typical of the German model railways. I've got some just like this in HOE, so they're almost the same but a narrow gauge. A friend of mine has got coaches just like this, Piko made ones in G scale, so great big ones, but pretty much the same as this. You get one of these little caboose type brake vans, and then this locomotive, which is quite interesting, an E44, which is an electric locomotive. I think there's a couple of these have been preserved. Got the old pantographs on them, and these actually will work. They are connected up inside, so on a lot of German model railways you can have the track as the ground and have the power coming in via the pantographs, and that I've even got some Z gauge stuff, some old Marklin stuff that will run like that. Not that I've ever tried to set it up like that, but yeah, this is it feels like a heavy locomotive, but I will show you inside it in the next part. It's mostly weights in the middle that are actually build up, make up the weight of the loco. It is a plastic body. There's a piece of metal for the chassis, but it's only like a frame. Most of it is a kind of stack of weights. The track, I'll just sit down to show you the track. So the track is quite interesting. It instead of fish plates, I don't know if I can show this, but instead of fish plates it's got like a little kind of inserts, and they go inside the rails and then join like that, and that's a really nice solid join. So they sort of go in a hollow at the end. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's quite a good system, and it's very much like some of the foot gauge railways that people build, and they slot the tracks together like that with the thing that goes inside the other section. So it means that these rails, at least at the end, are hollow. I don't know if they're hollow all the way through, but yeah, it's quite nice track. And you get the little cable to connect it to the track. Now, I did get this Loco. I serviced it. Got it. It wasn't running. I did get it running with my Gauge Master, but actually, when I run it, I thought it's probably better to use one of the old H&M clippers that I've got. So when I show it running, I'm going to be using a much older controller. But yeah, it's a nice looking set. Let's move on to looking at inside the Loco. Right, so I'm on the bench here. This locomotive, I've taken it to bits. It needs some work to get it running. These are just the lights, and you can see I've tested those. They actually work with the 12 volts supplied, and you can see inside it's got the catenary connections which attach to here, so you can actually run it. If you had a catenary, you could run the 12 volts and pick that up from there and just have the rail as dead rail, or well, as the 0 volt return effectively. It's got 2 bogies, both powered, and then you've got this kind of stack of weights that go in this chassis with this plastic piece, holds it all together, so that kind of goes in there, and then these weights are screwed through there, and you got these 2 bogies. So I've done some work on this one, as you can see, if you can see. Let me just zoom in if I can do that. There we go. Up to full speed, back down, and that's still running quite low, quite slow, so it's about there where it will stop. So that's about, for this analog controller, that's about the point where these older Locos start to run. So that's okay. But this one, so far I haven't been able to get any life out of this one. I managed to get it to hum a couple of times, but so I'm still going to have to do some work on this bogie. So yeah, it's looking okay so far. It was a non-runner, and now this bogey's running quite well. I've just got to sort out this one. I'm not sure if that's come off there. I don't think it has, because I think that's the other way round. So the catenary goes to well, I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this one out, because the catenary thing should go round to that side, and I think that has come off there, but that looks like, I don't know, there's something funny going on with these connections, so I'm going to try and sort that out next. Right, you can see they are both running now. A bit of coaxing, clean up some of the solder. I'm going to clean up a bit further, because I think one of them is not running quite as well as the other, so I'm just going to take a look at the pickup. I don't really want to take these motors to bits, because I don't know enough about them, and it could be a disaster and not be able to put them back together again. So I think it's going to run well enough, so I think I'm going to do a bit more tidying up on the pickup and cleaning up that side of things. As I say, I don't really want to open up the motors, but yeah, they seem to be running now, so that's good. Loco's back together now. I had some issues with it. It was these little inline coils. One or two of them just didn't seem to be quite working. I don't quite know what they're for. It could be a different power supply type, but you know, I don't think they're necessary with this Gauge Master controller. So I removed them, and both bogies seem to be, run it in the other direction, seem to be running okay now. One of them's more hesitant than the other, but because they're all driven separately, the Loco should run okay. So I'm going to put it back together now and see what happens. Right, so that's running on the track. So next step will be to set it up, and I've had one or two issues. When one of the bogies stops, the other one will wheel spin and it will stay. So there's still a bit of work to do, but it's enough there to maybe show it off. And yeah, I'm going to have to set the track up, I think, outside. Right, well, we should have had a look inside the Loco, and I've just come back here to say let's get the train on the tracks. Right, we're on the track. A couple of compromises. One of the coaches has got a missing, I've got it, but it's broken off. You can see there's a buffer missing plus the coupling, but it just needs sticking on. But I've got a chance to film this now, so I'm going to do it now. So I've actually got it hooked up to my HM clipper. Right, let's go this way to start with. So I'm not going to go fast because it's precariously close to the edge of the table. But as you can see, that does run very, very nicely. I can go a little bit faster. I'm not risking it coming off the table. I don't think the top speed's that high anyway, but that's a nice speed. There we go, that's top speed, but I'm going to slow down again because I don't want it coming off. And we'll just see how slow we can go. That's that. If I put it onto the half wave, we can go a bit slower. So as you can see, that's not too bad now. Needs a bit of a nudge there. Yeah, what's happening is one of the motors is still getting stuck. Right, so you can see on my to-do list there's a few things to do. Still, I've got to fix that rear coach. And the Loco, I've got it running, it was a non-runner. I think when the seller said it hadn't been run, I think what they meant was they've never managed to be able to get it to run, was I think what they meant. But yeah, it's running, and that's running nice. As it's a Piko, it's a DDR made one, but it's quality. So I'm going to stop this, well, I'm just going to let it run for a bit longer while the film lasts, as in my battery, my phone camera is getting full up. I need to delete some things. But I think that's pretty nice. Let's just go the other way. Oop. So I'll call that a day, but I'm pretty pleased with that. Right, just back for some final thoughts. I really like this set. It's really good, and it runs. Now that I've got it running, there's still a bit of work to do on it. It's not perfect, but it wasn't a familiar Loco to deal with, and I had to work out how to kind of sort it out. But it's running pretty nice, and it is a good quality train set. So I am pretty pleased with this set, and I will be running it more. It is really rather nice. So obviously no Brucey bonus this episode, because this is all there is to show really on this set. I did think about putting it on a small loop of track indoors in here, but there's not really any more to add to what I've already shown running. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching if you got this far, and I'll see you in the next one.